The Senate grilling credit bureau CEOs. They being grilled before the Senate. All mostly about medical debt and how it's impacting people's credits. So we're going to get into this article. This is an article that I come across. It is from the Iowa Capitol Dispatch, but this is an ongoing story. Last July, the credit bureaus made a change to have medical debt not be as impactful on people's credit reports. In fact, I believe if you had a medical collection under $500, it would not be calculated into your score. If you paid a medical collection that was less than a year old, that would not hurt your score either. So those are some of the changes. And the the Senate is grilling these CEOs and make sure that they're following up with what they decide. So I'm going to show you the story here. All right, so here we go. So credit bureau CEOs face tough questions at Senate hearing. Democrats push to remove medical debt. And so this is goes along with what I was telling you earlier. So let's get into the story. Here's actually a fact from this picture that said 4 in 10 adults have a medical debt. 1 in 10 have significant medical debt, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. This is impacting not only people's budgets, cash flow, but also the credit. So the story goes in. U.S. senators grilled executives of the 3 bureaus this week on their practices, transparent and fair to consumers. And especially the Democrats are leading the charge in this. Let me make sure where this story started. This is from April 28th. So this Ohio Democrat, Sherrod Brown, chair of the Senate Committee on Banking, said that all medical debt should be removed from credit reports. And the 3 bureaus announced last April about some of the changes that would happen last July, and about the $500 medical debt below $500 being removed from credit reports. He says medical debt does not correlate with credit risk, it correlates with illness. What do you think about that? Do you think that medical debt correlates with the credit risk, or is it simply a factor of illness? Traditionally banks and lenders have seen the more medical debt you have, the less likely you would pay for any more debt. But of course, we all know about the medical system and the medical billing, and there's a lot of problems with that. So what do you guys let me know in the comments? And it says no one should have their financial future destroyed because of an emergency or a sick family member. If you have $1,000 in medical debt, you're no less credit worthy than someone who was $500. It stems from the same problem. So what you think about that statement? Then he asked them to commit at the moment to removing all medical debt. So the bureaus have been not putting small medical debts on your credit report since last year, but this Senate committee wants to remove all medical debt from your credit reports. And of course, we know how important credit reports are into getting a new house, a car. So having errors or medical debt on there can hurt your ability to borrow money. 1 in 10 adults have significant medical debt. 6% have, or 16 million people have debt over $1,000. And people in states that have adopted Medicaid, this impacts them more. And black people have found that it impacts more. So Elizabeth Warren, she asked Equifax CEO if medical debt was able to predict someone paying their bills or not. And the CEO pretty much just dodged the question. He didn't have that information. She grilled him. But why does medical debt show up on people's credit reports all the time? Why is there so many problems with that? Well, a lot of times, the hospitals will charge you one price, they charge the insurance company another price. There's a lot of errors in billing. There's a lot of errors in having these insurance things processed. So a lot of these things are impacting people's credit. So they asked the CEO of Transunion and other CEOs if they would comply if the Congress directed them to remove medical debt from the credit reports. Now here's the other side of the story. Republicans call for financial literacy. And basically they want the bureaus to help Americans pretty much learn how to be literate, how to build good credit, and educate the people. Now, the Human Rights Watch, Consumer, a bunch of different advocacy groups are calling for more regulations, more enforcement of existing regulations to mitigate harms of medical debt on finances. They call for IRS to help. They also call for the CFPB to prohibit reporting of all medical debt. So, yeah, so that's the end of the article. We're not going to go through the whole thing. Basically, but you get the point. These Senate committees and these advocacy groups, they want medical debt removed from the credit reports. They want it to be less impactful. You can make of that whatever you want, but you see the number of people who are impacted, who has serious medical debt, and how it impacts their credit. So something needs to be done about it, and they're pushing the bureaus to remove it. Now, I told you about the changes from last July that medical debt less than a year old, if you pay that collection, it should be not impact your score. Medical collections $500 or less should not impact your score. But what if you have collections older than a year, or you have collections that you've paid that fit these requirements but they're still impacting your credit? Well, you have rights to dispute any item on your credit report, including medical debt. And we have been showing people through our DIY credit repair system how the average everyday person, me and you, can dispute negative items on your credit report, and if they are found to be inaccurate, unverified, or too old, they get removed. We've had a lot of people get negative items like medical debt, student loans, collections, bankruptcies, repossessions removed from their credit report. You just do it yourself credit step-by-step system. Pre-written dispute letters come with that, and the system is easy to follow, and you have support from myself and many other teammates who are using this system. So if you want to learn more about that, let me know in the comments below. I'll put the link in my description to get started with that. I also put the link to this article in the description. So appreciate you tuning in. Hey, sub to the channel, give me a like, and I will holler at you later. Peace.